Good morning. I'm out for a beautiful walk this morning and I've just been pondering on my last week and the experiences that I've gone through. And I've just come to the most beautiful little pond. So fun. Yeah, so I've been pondering on this last week's experiences and I don't know if you're like tuned into the energy world and things like I am, but even my Facebook meta, whatever, knows I am. So I get all these funny little videos if I ever scroll through on things like the Lionsgate portal. That was this last week on the 8th. And yeah, things like that. And this week as I was trying to follow some directions that I heard on these little videos, I just always felt this like sense of like stop and know and just trust that my highest good is coming. And I believe we can set intentions and create and do certain things, but what if sometimes we're beyond that and that we just have to trust and go with it and see what's coming up and feel so connected to the divine that everything that we're going through is going to work out for our highest good. So I do believe in manifesting and things like that, but I just have been wondering if there are spots and places in our life where we need to let things unfold without putting our will or ego or earthly intention into it. So what I mean by that is like, yeah, just sometimes things are meant to unfold, and our learning is to be so connected daily to God and the angels and the spirit, and like really work on just trusting as we go. So because I've always been on a big journey in my life, lots going on as I support others. It's like really being engaged and right in there in my own journey helps me learn and be ready to like be in the conversations with other people. When somebody walks in the room, it's like this energetic process happens within me. Whatever I'm dealing with is behind me. I don't even see it, I don't feel it, I don't hear it, and I'm with that person fully. And that's come with, 10 years of training, and I really noticed that happening already in the first 2 years of my practice. So it was a big shift that needed to happen so that I could truly just be there with people. So all I'm saying is, when we really align and learn to be with where we are and be in that present moment, sometimes things work out better than anything we could have visualized or manifested or created. For example, last year, just a second. Good morning.
You're right, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So, for example, last year I went on an amazing trip to Bali with my friend. It was so awesome, so restful, and whenever you do something like that, your mind opens. And she and I, just one of the days we were there, we didn't really focus on this at all, but just one day we just did some like spiritual work together, grounding and pulling some angel cards. And she is an amazing kinesiologist as well, so it was just so amazing. And I got a really clear direction during that little session that we had that I needed to start looking at areas where I might like to move to. Now, for some context, I had only just bought a house like a year and a half before and moved. So we'd sold our first house that we ever bought, and then we had moved up to the Sunshine Coast, and so we had eventually sold our Brisbane house to buy one on the sunny coast, and that was like really recently. At least for me, that felt really recent. And it was a small house and we were outgrowing it, but it was like, we're just going to deal with this. We didn't want to worry about moving. So anyway, get this clear direction through this process to start looking at where I might like to live. And so I come home and I sort of passively, and I did go and do a few drives to different places that I didn't know about. I was searching areas that I knew we could afford, and there was one area that I just loved, but I was like, I think it's out of our price range. But I was like, I'm gonna move. That's the only area I really want to move to. And before all that started happening, before I did any searching, I came home. My mother-in-law was staying with us at the time. She had just arrived right before I left, so she'd only been at our house for like 3 weeks before this thing that I'm going to tell you. So what happened was, I get home from the trip. She'd been beautiful and taking care of the kids and helping my husband so that he could still work and whatnot. And I get home, we book in with another beautiful, amazing spiritual teacher that we know, just to support her, because she was going through some really big things then. So we book in with one of my favorite people. She was out near inland in the Sunshine Coast, and we pull up at her house. I get out of the car and she's like, oh, you're gonna move, you need to move house. And you know, like days earlier we had just had that spiritual direction, like that I needed to start looking, and she's like, whoa, you want to move house somewhere like this? So that was like, okay, I better take this seriously. That's 2 experiences like that. So it's such a short period of time, like literally days apart. And so I was just with that. Like, I wasn't manifesting that. I wasn't doing anything for it. But once I got that clear direction, I moved and started, moved forward in investigating. And so then that's when the other part of that story started happening. So then shortly after that, and we started preparing our current house that we were living in to be sold, and we started investigating the process. Morning. So once we moved into the new house, which was in that area that I thought was out of my price range, and that's a whole nother story of how that all transpired, because it was a huge process. But the miracle that happened was, we sold our current house we were living in, we bought the new house, and it was less than the house we were living in. So we literally just switched our mortgage over. It was like the easiest moving process ever. So we were guided, and the house was twice the size, the land was 3 times the size of what we were living in. And it's just such a spiritual house. I just feel like it's a temple, that when people walk in the door, well, this has already happened. When people walk in the door, they often say to me, like, whoa, this place has an amazing spirit. And it does, because I was guided there to do the healing work that I came to do. And I believe we all have a work, we all have a process, and we all have different experiences we need to have on our journey. So I know we can all be that divinely supported. So when we do good things, good karma comes. And when I moved into that house, the thing that I just kept hearing in my own mind was, it really, really, really matters where you live. And without God and, you know, like them guiding me and directing me, and the spirit like literally just popping up and saying, you need to move house. Without that happening, I wouldn't have done it. And I wouldn't have moved into that house and been like, holy crap, this is the house I needed, that I didn't know that I needed. I would never have known to manifest that house. Like, with the circumstances, I just would not have known. And so this whole chat, this whole message is about the fact that sometimes God knows better than we can even manifest. So rather than using our ego to go, this is what I want, but you know, in a special way so that it brings it to me, what if we just be with where we are and accept the guidance that comes and follow it, and work on trusting that God knows us and loves us and that, or if you prefer to talk about the universe, that universal energies are always guiding us to our highest good. That the earth is upgrading and that our energies are all being upgraded, and to truly accept that. And you know, like, you never stop working on yourself, you never stop seeking out spiritual helpers and emotional helpers, so that our mind, body and spirit can, you know, more and more gradually as we get older, become more and more connected, so that things like what happened with me happen to you. And you might look at my life and be like, well, I would never want that. And that's totally fine, because everyone's life is meant to be everyone else's life. Like, I am so happy and grateful and love mine, and I believe everyone can as well. You know, sometimes we are sitting in these big beautiful houses feeling uncomfortable and feeling not at home, and so that work starts within. So to round this off, I am not poo-pooing manifesting, because I do think it has its place and I believe in it, and I also think that there are times in our lives where we just need to be with where we are, take it one step at a time, listen quietly for direction, or loudly, because that example was kind of loud and unmissable. But that has gradually come as I've worked with spiritual teachers and become a spiritual teacher and felt into the directions that I need to take. So be with where you are, work on your spiritual healing, and like let it come for you, let it be there for you, rather than egoically seeking it out. If you feel it is your journey right now. So I'm just offering another perspective, and I'd love to hear your comments. And yeah, that was my walk talk. So catch you later.